Howdy. I never imagined that a goofy little kid from Salem, Oregon could get to work at a place like NASA. See, I went to an art school in California, and I did this crazy little project with soda pop bottles. And I started to kind of play with them, and I thought, oh, maybe I could make some little sculptures with them, and then maybe I could light them in different ways, and then I could, stack them on top of each other and maybe put them on top of the building, and thought that was kind of cool. And then, have you ever blown on a bottle and it makes a little noise, right? Well, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I put these on my car and drove around? But I don't know if you can read that. It says, does not work. I thought, possibly this would work. I got my friend, and that didn't work either. But eventually I got the right angle and the right distance, and it made this beautiful noise. It'd go, woo, 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 woo. I thought, wow, this is really cool. What if we put these on the side of a taco truck stand? So this little grocery store that sells 500 kinds of soda, maybe it'd be like an ice cream truck. You'd hear it as it's coming along. And my friend, she has perfect pitch, so she can listen to a note, and she can tell you exactly what it is. And I don't know anything about music, and I don't know anything about instruments, but I thought, wouldn't it be cool to make a pipe organ out of these soda pop bottles? And so I'm the kind of person that I try to come up with an idea, but I have no idea how to do it. But I found that if you ask enough stupid questions and you find the right people, that you can actually do a lot of interesting things. So I didn't know how to do most of this stuff, but eventually we figured it out. Well, what I never imagined was that this project helped me get to this place. This is NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab. It's not in Pasadena, Texas. It's in Pasadena, California. It's right next to the Rose Bowl. And there's 5,000 people that work there, and they're doing amazing things. There's a bunch of them that are using satellites that go around the Earth that study the land and the sky and the sea of the Earth. And then there's others that are using telescopes that look far out at stars and galaxies far, far away. And then there's others that are figuring out ways of landing robots on other planets. This is a simulation of the Curiosity rover that landed on Mars not too long ago. So there's amazing people that work there, and they're really smart. And you imagine this is the way that you get to JPL, right? You're really smart in high school, you're really smart in college, and then you take more college, and you're really smart there, and then you end up at JPL. But I'm here to tell you that there is another way. So school wasn't made for me, or I wasn't made for school. But I'm not really proud of this because I feel like I wasted 4 years of my life. And the reason was that I just didn't have a passion when I was in school. But eventually, I went to this art school. It's called Art Center College of Design in Pasadena. And I ended up getting to spend some time with scientists at Caltech. And I realized that I did have a passion. And my passion is to create experiences in people's lives where they get a moment of awe about the universe that we live in. Well, eventually, I ended up getting to talk to the director of JPL, and I had 2 seconds to sell myself, and I said, wouldn't it be really cool to have artists help come up with new mission concepts? And he said, that's great, and then he walked away. And I thought, oh man, how am I going to get a hold of him? And so I'd been sending my resume out in next day air because, no one throws away a FedEx. You have to open that. Well, I was going to be gone, and my wife, bless her heart, was going to do it for me. And she went down there, and they didn't have any letter-sized envelopes. They only had gigantic, enormous envelopes, and she sent it anyways. So he got this giant envelope with just like a little tiny resume in it. He must have been, it was a little strange. So he sent it on to some folks, and they said, they brought me in and said, well, man, maybe you could do some animations for us. And I thought, I'll do anything to work at a place like this. But this was like a really important moment in my life. I just graduated from school. I had a huge debt, we'd just had a baby, and I didn't have a job. But I thought, let me tell you, this bottle project that I did, this is what I'm really passionate. This is what I'm really passionate about. And he saw the stuff that I had done with the Caltech people, so he knew that I was, at least somewhere rational. And he said, he took a risk. So he said, I don't really understand what you do, but I'll give you 6 months and we'll see what happens. And that was 10 years ago. So it's been great to be able to work there. I've gotten to do all sorts of amazing things, and now I have a team that we actually do help them brainstorm the missions of the future. And I help put together brainstorming centers for them. But again, the things that I'm most passionate about are experiences. And so this first experience I'm going to tell you about is about the planet Jupiter. And if you remember the planets, Jupiter's the giant one with the big eye. And that big eye can actually hold 2 Earths. And so Jupiter, there's no place to walk around on Jupiter. There is no land. It's a huge storm. And it happens to have giant lightning storms. And NASA is going to be sending a spacecraft that's going to, amongst many things, figure out how deep these storms go. So in this experience, you walk into a room, and you see a big cloud, and you hear thunder and lightning, but you can't see it. It turns out I have lots of infrared lights underneath, and your eyes can't see infrared light, but it turns out that your cell phone can. So the only way in which you can see the lightning storm is through your cell phone. Just like when we go to other planets, we use sensors to see things that we can't see with our eyes. This next experience is about finding planets around other stars. And, when I first got there, they talked about finding an Earth-like planet. And I was like, wow, this is really crazy. And they'd give me all sorts of numbers. And if you recall, I'm not all that great with numbers. And so I had to build an experience for me to help me understand what they were talking about. So what you see here is under a magnifying glass, and it's a grain of sand. It's a little tiny grain of sand. And what's cool about being at a place like JPL is you can say, hey, could you drill a hole into a grain of sand? And they said, sure. If this grain of sand were the Milky Way galaxy, so we live in the Milky Way galaxy, there's billions of stars in our Milky Way galaxy. We've looked at this little teeny tiny area of our galaxy, and we've found hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, almost thousands of planets around other stars within this little teeny tiny area of our galaxy. And we're going to find thousands more there because we just don't have the technology to see it right now, let alone the rest of our galaxy. If you wanted to see all the other galaxies that we know about, you'd need 6 roomfuls of sand. And so I'll create these experiences with lots of sand, and you look under a magnifying glass, you sort of get a sense of scale of our universe. The next piece is also about planet finding, but it's about the difficulty of finding planets. So stars are giant, and they're really bright, but the things that you're looking for are really, really small and dim. So we have to come up with techniques to see really dim lights in the midst of really bright lights. So I have 2 projectors. One is super bright, and it's projecting this sort of yellow and red pixely pattern up on the wall. And when you walk up to it, that's all you can see. But invariably, I think it's part of a human gene that we have to do shadow puppets. And so someone will invariably do shadow puppets, and then they realize that when they block out this really bright light, there's really another light there. And I have imagery of water because we're looking for evidence of water and planets. And that becomes sort of a communal event. So that's my day job. It's a lot of fun. But I also get to have a lot of great experiences after I put my kids to bed and spend time with my wife, getting to do creative projects around the world and teaming with really amazing people. And finished a project a few years ago at the San Jose airport with Nick Hoffermas and Aaron Koblin. And it's called the E-Cloud. And what you see are thousands of pieces of liquid crystal. Liquid crystal is normally opaque, but if you add a little bit of electricity to it, it becomes transparent. And so this is our cloud, our digital cloud. And what we do is we're listening to weather data from around the world. And every 20 seconds, we sort of symbolically pick up our cloud and stick it into a different city, and the weather of that city affects what you see. So if it's in Seattle and it's raining, then it looks like it's raining. If it's Chicago and it's windy, it looks like it's windy. And if it's LA, it just kind of sits there and does nothing. It's always boring when it goes to LA because there's no weather in LA. So I found this little chart to be really useful in life. I'm going to show a chart. How about that? That's what everyone at JPL does. So we all have unique passions, right? We all have skills. And there's some people that have amazing passions for things that they're no good at, right? You know the kinds of people that love to sing, but you don't like to listen to them sing. Well, the shower is a great place to express your passion, right? So it's great that we have showers, at least some of us. And then there's other people that have great skills and things that they're just not passionate in. And I've seen people that have kind of, their career has been defined by a skill that they have no passion in. And I find that those people have a huge hole in their heart. And then there's other people that have passions that they're sort of good at, and then they work, and they work, and they work, until they get to this amazing place where they're at the pinnacle of their skills and passion. And these people are people that can see things that the rest of us can't see. They create businesses that we never could have imagined. They cure diseases, and they land robots on Mars. I don't know about you, but this is the sort of place that I want to be in, because I feel like that's where we should all be. We should all be able to express our human potential that way. And the reason why that's important to me is found in this little box right here. So you can look up on the screen, you can sort of see what's going on inside of this. You see that sort of looks like it's snowing? Well, watch for the streaks, because those streaks have an amazing story. See, particles have been in these stars, and they explode out of these exploding stars and been flying through space for millions of years. Some of them reach Earth, and they fly across Texas and through the walls of this building and smash right inside of this box and leave a little tiny streak. For just a fraction of a moment, they show us that they actually exist. And what's crazy is these things are flying through you and me all day long. It's really strange. So our bodies are made of atoms, atoms that used to be in an exploding star. And it just so happens that this moment in galactic history, these atoms have sort of formed uniquely to make you and to make me. And it blows me away at how special and fragile our lives really are. So every morning that I wake up, I always think about, I have to ask the question of what in the world am I going to do with my special moment in time?